With the Mayweather-McGregor fight on everyone's minds, it only makes sense that we give you as much detail about the fighters involved as possible. This time around, we're going to focus on Irish MMA fighter Conor McGregor. Specifically, let's move away from the octagon for a minute and take a look at the sorts of ridiculously expensive and over-the-top things this rising star has purchased for himself over the last few years. You know what's not expensive? Our subscribe button. In fact, it and the notification buttons are totally free and just waiting for you to press them. Once that's done, we'll start the show. Shoes. When you're an A-list celebrity or a star who is rapidly on the rise, you can't seem to spend your money as quickly as you can make it. When you suddenly start having million-dollar checks coming in, you can buy pretty much anything regardless of cost. Out of all the over-the-top purchases Conor McGregor has made over the years, his collection of shoes is by far the least ridiculous. However, for the majority of people who get a glimpse at the kind of footwear this fighter owns, they'll likely be left wondering why on earth you would spend so much. Of course, anyone who is anyone needs a pair of designer shoes, and McGregor posted a video to social media where he showed off a pair of $750 Jimmy Choos. Then there are his crocodile loafers. Made from crocodile skin, these shoes cost a cool $1,000 and may actually be more trouble than they're worth. You see, whenever McGregor travels to certain countries or states, he has to bring along all sorts of identification for the shoes because of laws prohibiting movement of certain animal remains over the borders. Suits. What goes well with some swanky footwear? Well, some fabulous clothing, of course. We little people are infatuated with anything and everything celebrities wear out in public. Thanks to the paparazzi and red carpet interviews, we see our favorite A-listers out in their designer evening wear, high-end sports gear, or even super expensive sweatpants. Conor McGregor is a bit different. The paparazzi don't really need to ever track him down. That's because he's very open about what he wears, and that's mostly suits. In interviews with McGregor's personal tailor, it was revealed that this Irish MMA star isn't afraid to drop a lot of money on his ever-expanding suit collection. In fact, it was revealed that before every media tour, McGregor usually orders at least 8 to 10 custom-made suits. No department store off-the-rack specials here. If you think this sounds expensive, you're absolutely right. The tailor also revealed these suits cost anywhere from $4,000 to $10,000 a piece. That leaves us with just one question for you. When was the last time you spent upwards of $100,000 in suits in one round of shopping? Hey there, folks. Love watching our videos, but looking for a more ad-free browsing experience? Take your video viewing to the next level and sign up for the Premium Network. You'll get the first peek at the newest content from not only the richest, but Screen Rant, The Taco, The Sportster, The Things, and many more. Thousands of your favorite videos in one place is a no-brainer. Click here to be the first in line for the Premium. Rolls-Royce Phantom. Naturally, no discussion of celebrities and their extravagant and lavish lifestyles can be complete without a sneak peek inside that garage. Many celebrities opt to only have a car or two at the most. In their garages, you'll usually find something like a Cadillac Escalade, Mercedes S-Class, or Audi SUV. Then there are the fighters. Usually brought up without a lot of money, many boxers and MMA fighters who make it big love to buy a small fleet of high-priced cars. In this instance, Conor McGregor isn't that different. When the million-dollar paycheck started to roll in from his UFC fights, McGregor immediately went to the dealership and started ordering cars. He's since amassed a fleet of exotic and luxurious rides. In his fleet, one of the most expensive is the luxurious Rolls-Royce Phantom drop-head coupe. Starting at around $400,000, prices for this swanky ride can easily pass $500,000. As you'd expect, the interior is richly finished with a lot of teak wood and leather. Under the hood, McGregor is sure to impress any motorhead groupies thanks to the Phantom's 6.7-liter V12 engine that puts out a pretty decent 453 horsepower. Bodyguards. From politicians to Hollywood stars, some of the biggest names out there have often had to opt for some extra personal protection over the years. No, we're not talking about buying a gun or a dog. Instead, we're thinking more about hired help in the form of bodyguards. Whether just trying to look like they're super important or worried about overzealous fans and stalkers, it's not unusual to see some celebs with bodyguards. But a professional fighter? While anyone would be pretty stupid to try and take on Conor McGregor outside the octagon, some recent threats reportedly led the fighter to hire some bodyguards. Big and angry looking, some of these hired hands have been photographed escorting McGregor and his girlfriend Dee Devlin when they're out in public. Now, all this extra protection doesn't come cheap. Even a basic bodyguard starts at around $25 an hour. Given McGregor reportedly hired 2 bodyguards to give him 24/7 protection, that would result in a bill of around $36,000 a month. If we're being honest, that figure is likely much higher, as we imagine the kind of guys he's hiring want a little more than a general going rate. Training camp. If you're going to be a professional fighter, then you need to have all the fixings. What do we mean? Well, you can't become the champ by simply going on long runs and lifting weights. No, instead, you need quite the support staff to help you on your way to the top. In Conor McGregor's case, all of this can lead to a pretty massive bill by the end of a training camp. Take his preparation for UFC 202 as an example. According to McGregor, training camp involved several different coaches, sparring partners, and a nutritionist to help him get into shape. Add in the gym time, transportation, and flight costs, as well as food for the entire crew, and this thing got ridiculously expensive. When it was all said and done, it is estimated that McGregor spent around $300,000 on his training camp in preparation for the fight. We're pretty sure that price didn't include the usual array of new suits that he tends to get either. Nonetheless, the Irish fighter won his bout against Nate Diaz and reportedly pocketed $3 million. So you could say that $300,000 bill paid off nicely. Time for our Conor McGregor quiz. In his fight against Floyd Mayweather, some are saying McGregor is set to rake in a massive payday. Any guesses on how much this Irish fighter is set to take home? We'll let you know after these next expensive McGregor purchases. Fur coat. Thanks to growing awareness and the work of animal rights advocacy groups like PETA, many people now think wearing real fur isn't that fashionable. Whether a true belief in the cause or just a fear of getting covered in red paint, the fact is fewer and fewer people wear fur. Then there's Conor McGregor. In the press conference leading up to UFC 205, the trash-talking star showed up in a Gucci white mink fur coat. In fact, to outsiders, his fashion sense seemed rather bizarre. Those who know boxing will understand that it was all a reference to boxer Joe Frazier, who wore a nearly identical outfit leading to his 1974 fight against Muhammad Ali at Madison Square Garden. Of course, this was a bit strange considering Frazier lost the fight. Nonetheless, McGregor turned heads with the stunt and left people wondering just how much this fur coat cost. Interestingly, to those who paid attention, the tags were still on the coat, leading some to wonder if McGregor would return the $20,000 fur once he was done with his publicity stunt. Irish mansion. What would a video about expensive celebrity purchases be without at least one entry devoted to real estate? Every year, we spend millions on magazines and visit celebrity watch sites in order to look at the lifestyles of our favorite stars. One area that always gains a lot of interest concerns their homes. How big are the homes and how much did they spend? Well, with millions of dollars now flowing into his bank account thanks to his UFC successes, Conor McGregor is following the trend of spending millions on housing. After spending his early life living in his parents' suburban Dublin home, McGregor went out and bought a $2.25 million estate in Ireland. His new estate, called Lady Castle, is located on the grounds of the exclusive K Club in Kildare, Ireland. Surrounded by countryside and bordering a golf course, this is definitely a place for a millionaire to live. However, keep in mind that McGregor spends a lot of time away from Ireland. As a result, it is reported that he spends tens of thousands of dollars every month renting out everything from a Las Vegas mansion to a summer vacation home. Watch collection. Watches serve a lot of functions. Yes, primarily they are used to tell the time. However, most of us now just check the time on our phones. This has seen the watch turn more into a piece of jewelry than a practical everyday accessory. Whether you're a rapper, a movie star, or a sports star, having a big collection of high-priced watches is an absolute must. After all, what would the media say if they caught you wearing just any old Timex piece? Shh. We can safely say Conor McGregor will never be that person. It seems like that wherever the Irish fighter goes, he has a new watch. Whether Hublot, Rolex, or Breguet, he always has at least $20,000 on his wrist. Of course, for the real watch connoisseurs, the times he appears with a Patek Philippe on is when people start talking. Likely one of the most expensive watches in his collection, McGregor's Patek Philippe Nautilus retails for a mere $62,000. Ultimately, this UFC star should have no excuses for ever being late, considering his personal watch collection must be worth at least several $100,000. Lamborghini Aventador. When a celebrity truly wants to spend their money on something that will turn heads and get them from point A to point B at breakneck speed, they buy an exotic performance car. No, we're not talking about a tuned-up Honda Civic here. Think bigger and imagine manufacturers like Ferrari, Bugatti, and McLaren. These are cars that will put a large hole in your bank account and make your insurance company cringe. For Conor McGregor, when speed calls, he turns to his Lamborghini Aventador. This car is said to have cost the UFC star a whopping $500,000. So what does that kind of money get you? Well, just from the looks of it, the Aventador has that wow factor you'd expect from an Italian supercar. Hit the gas, and there'll be even more wow as this thing is powered by a 6.5-liter V12 engine that produces 690 horsepower. According to Lamborghini, this allows the car to accelerate to 60 miles per hour in under 3 seconds. Again, with speed like this, it's amazing that McGregor ends up being late to so many of his press conferences. A private jet. What do Tom Cruise, Angelina Jolie, Oprah, and Jay-Z have in common? Well, yes, they are all incredibly wealthy A-list celebs. But more impressively, each of them owns their own private jet. Yes, when you've reached the true pinnacle of celebrity status, you'll know because you'll be getting a bill for maintenance on your own jet every month. Judging by all the social media pics posted by Conor McGregor, you might be led to think that he also owns his own jet. Alas, the UFC fighter still only rents his private jets when he and his entourage are traveling around. However, after hanging out with Real Madrid star Cristiano Ronaldo, we think McGregor might feel some pressure to grab his own wings after his next big payday. That's because Ronaldo has his very own $19 million Gulfstream jet and, according to reporters, he jokingly poked fun of his Irish friend for not having his own. Given McGregor loves to show off his toys and hates to be one-upped by anyone, we'd say the odds are very good that he'll have his own plane sometime in the very near future. So, do you know how much experts are saying Conor McGregor is set to make from his high-profile fight against Floyd Mayweather? The answer? At least $75 million. In fact, UFC President Dana White has even stated his champ could make upwards of $100 million. That is a whole lot of new watches in custom-made suits. Well, the bell has rung on this video, and it's time for us to say goodbye. Of course, there are tons of other videos here at The Richest about everything from the greatest to the biggest fighters. Try checking them out if boxing and MMA is your thing. Until next time, we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye for now. Ding ding!